Okay, so let's talk about my movie.
If you're only listening and you don't know what Alex is pointing at, is a death proof poster.
We're not on video right now.
Take a picture of that. Put it on a picture of it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me take a sip of my beer, and then we're going to talk about the angry red planet.
Ugh, okay.
You guys are such dicks.
You're not allowed to pick movies.
You're the one who picked this movie. God damn it!
All right, my movie.
Like I literally turned to Jude. I was like, "Is he serious?
Yes.
Does he really want us to watch
I was
this?"
like, is this the right one?
Yeah, did we anger Alex in some way?
I want to broaden my horizon. I want to watch movies that I've never even heard of
Every
before.
single time you ask us to watch something, it's a ball of shit.
This was not a ball of shit.
Big turd sandwich.
This had an important message to the human race.
That aliens are assholes.
And that women,
Because that was the end message.
no
basically.
matter what your profession is, if you're a woman, you ought to be serving food.
Yeah.
I know we're getting to the end
Okay,
here.
yeah, we're getting to the end.
But the whole attention, citizens of Earth. If
Thank
you
God
choose
those
to come to
aliens
this
spoke
planet, we will destroy you. We've been watching you since you crawled out of the oceans as an amoeba of slime.
Oh my God, he memorized
Yeah,
that.
that's word for word what they say at the end.
It's like, whatever. It's terrible.
Oh man,
But
it was so
Zendaya
good.
was in it.
No, she wasn't. That would have made it good.
There should be a remake with Zendaya in it. She could play the curvy astronaut.
That's what we should do at the end of the pod. We should go through who we would recast it if we did a reboot. Yeah.
Ugh, retro reboots.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail you.
Anyway,
you're
Alex,
fine.
Please carry on.
what is Angry Red Planet about?
It's not. It doesn't matter. It was a goofy '60s sci-fi movie. I did like I did find a couple of not callbacks. That's the opposite. What's the opposite of a callback?
Back call.
No, it's
A current event?
It was like it was like a foreshadowing for movies that we do love, and it was kind of inspiration. There was some inspiration. I felt like maybe for like the Alien franchise. I got some Ripley.
No,
vibes.
none of them saw this movie.
I did because when they were out in the
You're
planet,
reading way too much into it.
I'm trying so hard.
The only thing that it has in common was that it was aliens.
And the female lead, okay, arguably she was the lead. She rescued everybody. She was the only one that like knew what happened.
She better get her ass in the kitchen.
The whole movie revolved around the female astronaut, which I thought was very progressive for 1960.
It kind of was.
And she was arguably one of the smarter ones on the crew. She was the one who figured out how to get off the planet.
We got to set the stage out.
Okay, sorry.
Nobody's going to know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
Angry Red Planet is about 4 astronauts that are the first people ever to make it to Mars on a spaceship, which looks kind of like a SpaceX spaceship from Elon Musk.
It even lands the same way.
It even lands the same way, which again, some current day oh, hey, look at that. That came true. In the 1960s, that was sci-fi. Now
No,
today,
it was just literally they had stock footage of a rocket taking off and they just reversed it because this movie was made for like $200,000
and in 9 days.
in 9 days.
9 times.
So anyway, they get to Mars.
Anyway, they get to Mars and they realize that there's a bunch of crazy. There's like a whole city there, and there's a giant bat, monkey, squid, spider thing that tries to eat them.
We called it a spider mouse.
Yeah,
It's bat, mouse, spider crab.
okay.
Bat mouse spider crab.
Bat, mouse, spider crab.
Bat mouse spider crab.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yes,
Everyone's heard of that.
and I mean, at that time that was some pretty cutting edge stuff.
I mean, it was terrifying in
It
1960.
was. My kid was mesmerized watching it.
Oh, God.
It was hilarious.
You let your kid
Yes,
watch
I did. And the other thing they did was that they advertised this movie as being some like magical achievement of cinema because they had this new movie magic, or what was it called? Something.
It was called Cinema
Magic. Something magic.
Cinemagic.
Yeah, Cinemagic.
Well, Cinemagic, the process was basically it was a way to combine animation with live action stuff back before any of this stuff was even possible, and it didn't work. And in order to save the movie, they actually had to do like a double exposure technique to give it like this weird trippy look.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it was just going to look like even more fake than it already did.
Some of the interviews after the movie came out with the director and producers were like,
You watched interviews?
I did. They were like, this movie did not come out the way we wanted it to. Like, this is awful.
It came out bad.
It came out. It was so much worse than we expected. She got the snort. Yeah, they were like, this movie is not something that we're proud of. The technology that we tried using didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. Visually on screen, we were like, this looks like garbage. So they just kind of salvaged what they could out of it. They filmed the movie in 9 days with $200,000 budget. It was just
and that budget got slashed midway through, and they already had spent like a fourth of it on the cinemagic process.
Oh my god.
This is just a failure across the board.
Like there was literally a part when Jude and I were watching the movie where a character is like looking up in the spaceship, and I was like, he's not going to go up there because they couldn't afford a second set for the spaceship.
Yeah, it's true. Everything took place basically on one set as far as like the spaceship was concerned, with the control panels and all that stuff, and then the second set was just outside with some like fake palm trees.
Well,
and
didn't
some
they have a
rubber monsters
pantry so the woman could go get their Mars rations?
And make sandwiches.
Yeah, make sandwiches.
It's like, hey, woman scientist, go get us some food.
The 19
galley.
It's like they're like, Dr. Sweetheart, Dr. Dollface.
Oh,
why
yeah,
don't you
Dollface?
why don't you whip me up a sandwich, Dr. Dollface?
The latent misogyny in this movie is
so priceless.
Great.
I mean, it's the one redeeming factor of this movie. Because it was just so entertaining.
We gotta get you a different outfit.
Yeah.
'cause we can't,
Yeah,
see
you
your
can't
curves.
see your curves.
That was my favorite one. They
I'm
were like,
sure it was.
they were like, I can't remember the poor lady's name in the movie.
Irish.
but- Irish? Oh, that's right.
Iris.
Yeah, Irish.
Iris.
It was
Iris.
No. Her name was
no,
Iris.
yeah, he called her
He kept calling her
Irish.
Irish because she was a redhead.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the just 1960s, like, low-key, not even low-key, just blatant misogyny.
no,
That was my favorite
Yeah,
part
it was
of the
just
movie.
like, it was a different time,
Yeah,
right?
it was.
Oh, things were different back then.
Yeah.
And the captain always had his
His
thing
shirt
open.
off. Yeah, his
Oh
shirt
my
off.
god,
his
the
shirt with the chest hair.
CG on the
Chest hair,
lead
yeah.
astronaut's suit.
Yes.
But
All that chest
it
hair.
was
the
funny.
high pants with the belt above the belly button.
Yeah.
Boom.
It was
Bring
funny
it on,
'cause-
Grandpa.
It was funny because the crew, so it was 3 men and 1 woman. And
Yep.
all the men except for the professor hit on this woman shamelessly. And just, and it was funny when she would react to it.
Compliment.
Yeah. Like the one guy would put his hands on her shoulders and it was really awkward. And he'd be like, oh, the moon's so romantic tonight. And she'd be like,
It's like, it was so weird.
like do the hair flip thing.
Yeah. But my favorite thing was that, I mean, it was so
Yeah,
funny and blatantly obvious.
There was this line where they were getting ready to go out onto
Yeah,
the surface of Mars for the first time, and she's got her spacesuit on, and one of the guys, I think he was the pilot, he's like,
what'd you put that on for? It hides all your wonderful curves.
yeah, all your feminine
I'm
curves
about to go walk out on a planet.
in high heels, no less.
yeah.
Yeah, this movie is, oh my God. All right. Jude, why don't you give me your perspective on this movie? What did you think of it when you watched it?
Okay. Well, I thought, really? Through a lot of it. But honestly, it was hilarious. I don't think it intended to be hilarious,
No,
but
definitely not.
it definitely was. Like all of the special effects were just so bad that you can't not appreciate it.
Yeah.
And the mouse bat or mouse
Bat crab.
Yeah, mouse bat crab.
BatRatSpiderCrabs.
Rat spider crab. Yeah, that was something that will probably make appearances in my dreams from now on.
Nice. What did you think about the blob? The big green gooey blob that just kind of came out.
when that giant plant attacked,
The vagina plant.
yeah, we thought it was going to be a planet of like
Carnivorous plants.
carnivorous plants. But we kept calling them sex plants because it looked like the plant was trying to like make love.
With its tentacles.
It was just like,
Yeah, so it was like the plant was like a Venus flytraps, but it looked like a vagina with
Yeah.
tentacles.
And I was like, oh shit, I figured it out. Sex plants. It's a planet full of sex plants. And then I was like, oh man, there's no sex plants on this planet.
No.
So I was a little disappointed.
Didn't it have teeth?
The whole lake, though.
Yeah, well, it was an ocean.
It was
man.
as big as this table we're sitting at.
They're like rowing across Lake Michigan in this little dinghy raft that they brought.
Yeah,
along.
they brought along an inflatable raft to Mars.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And what did they say? They said something about the water. Like, the water's heavier here. It must
heavy
be
water.
It was like oil.
mineral rich. And they inflated a raft with a couple of paddles.
And the reveal of the futuristic city,
man.
where it's like, what, you couldn't see that from the shore? That thing's gigantic.
Or like
Giants.
from outer space.
Yeah.
I never got closure on that city.
It's like there's
No, they did not. It would just kind of showed up and then it disappeared.
Wasn't in the budget.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're rowing to the World Trade Center that you can see from 100 miles away.
And they're never going to get the chance again because they're not allowed to come back.
They're not allowed to go back to Mars.
So let's get this over with and talk about the ending, the whole message. Like, I went down a rabbit hole the other day and I started looking into conspiracy theories about the 60s and 70s about film and the CIA and how much they used that as propaganda to kind of like paint the CIA as the good guys and to trick everybody because they're a bunch of assholes. And I was looking at this movie through that lens for a while and I was like, wow, this is really weird because it's so obviously like, yay, science, let's get in our rocket ship and go explore in the good old American way. And then when they get home and this message from the space aliens is like, don't ever come back here again. And I'm like, what does it mean? Why have we never gone back to the moon?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fake moon landing stuff and like how we're never gonna go back there again, and it's just it felt like a weird.
I wish we would get there for the first time.
God damn it.
Hey, Andre wanted us to do a conspiracy theory podcast. This could be the good start.
If we don't get there before I die, I'm going to be really upset.
To Mars or the moon?
To Mars.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about the moon.
I did too.
He's like, I really like to.
Listen, man,
actually
I know I'm
land
the
on
oldest
moon.
one at the table, but when I was a kid, I thought by now we would at least have like domed moon bases and stuff and have like some cool stuff going on back and forth between us and the moon.
We're
Back in
working on it.
childhood.
And
Sci-fi.
I'm like a huge
Like this-
I'm
this-
a huge NASA nerd, man, and I love that stuff. I want to see somebody step foot on Mars. I
high
really
heels?
do, and if I don't make it there, I'm going to be really upset.
In high heels. Step foot on
high
high
Oh,
heels.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
make sure that the spacesuit is form-sitting.
Yeah,
Form-suiting.
form-fitting.
Yeah.
So it
we
doesn't
see
hide the
curves.
curves.
Exactly.
Go
And if
find,
she's not wearing lipstick,
That's the
we need
biggest
someone else to do
takeaway.
it.
That's the biggest takeaway from this movie is don't hide the curves, people. Never hide the curves.
I wanted to
And
ask
you know what? That goes out to you men too. Don't hide your curves.
I wanted to, or our chest hair. Alex, I wanted to ask you,
up?
what was that rifle they were using?
Yeah.
Oh, the sonic
was
sonic
that?
boom rifle. So it was all just based off acoustics. And it wasn't any kind of physical damage. It wasn't like a laser gun or anything like that. It was all acoustic sound wave, like
Because
ear
it's
piercing.
cheaper to do the sound effect
Exactly.
than it is to
But
do the
here's the
special
thing.
effect.
Exactly.
don't really mock that.
It's a real thing.
That's a real thing now.
Yeah.
and it messes you up.
That was his boomstick.
They also
It's a crowd control thing that they have.
That,
They're
yeah.
mounted on top of trucks.
It made the BatRatSpiderCrabs eyes bleed.
yes.
Yeah,
It made him go blind, I think.
Yeah,
Something.
Funny enough, so the BatRatSpiderCrab,
Yes.
it's on the cover of the Misfits "Walk Amongst Us" album.
Ooh.
Like
It kinda
they
seems
actually
like-
use that as like their
You know what else?
cover
I love
art.
Misfits.
Just when you brought that up, it kind of reminds me of the Demogorgon God thing from Stranger Things 3 and 4.
The BatRatSpiderCrab was designed and operated by renowned marionette artist Bob Baker.
Oh,
Who was like a big time special effects guy in the 60s.
See, there's some clout to this movie. All right, enough about this
Well,
ridiculous.
now we know what they spent their
I think
money on.
we need to make like a game, like a paper rock scissors game. Call it Bat Rat Spider Crab. And we'll figure that out later.
Okay, that's post.
Do you think that they
Post-podcast.
paid all of their actors equally, or do you think the female lead who saved everyone got paid significantly
Yeah,
less?
she definitely didn't get as much
Yeah,
as
she
she
No, no,
definitely
no, no.
didn't get as much. The guy with the chest hair got paid the most.
Oh, yeah. Well, he showed the most chest hair.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
In 1961, she probably made like $12.50.
Yeah.
I need about $350.
Yeah.
But it was funny because she like all the men died basically, and the captain got infected by this like alien goo,
Yeah.
and she was the one who basically got them back to the ship and
Space
got it
Space Game.
going.
Yeah. That's
back,
what I'm
back
saying.
to
Like,
Earth.
Ripley, I'm telling you, man. Sigourney Weaver, this is a
She was
precursor
not Ripley.
for...
Like her character was constantly the one who needed to be saved.
Well, that
She
was
was an
1960s.
hysterical woman.
So
She
what
was a
we're saying-
hysterical
60,
woman.
yes.
Like she actually had a line
They
where she was like, "Forgive me for
actually
being
said-
a
Oh,
hysterical
yeah. Oh, my
woman."
God. That was so weird.
He's been saying it to me all week.
Forgive
have
me
been.
for being female and scared.
Yes.
Like, what?
I just love the parts where
You're
they're
forgiven.
they're sitting around the ship and they're like, "Hey, Irish, why don't you go make me a sandwich?"
Legit.
And
She's like, oh my God, are you hungry? Okay.
This movie, if you haven't already watched it, this movie is available on Amazon Prime.
Don't watch it.
Just,
It's stupid.
it's a blast from the past, man.
Like it's literally like there was one point where they were doing like a a 3-shot of these guys talking, and they would cut to a close-up of each individual as they were talking. And I told Jude, I was like, look at the background. And it was the same background for each. Like,
they were standing in exactly the same spot.
As they were like cut between, like the background wouldn't change, but the person would. And it was just like, that's tantamount Mystery Science Theater 3000 style bad movie.
You
right
guys
there.
are all